like for me, I was really worried about work and like my next role and what that looked like for me. So much so to the point where I was starting to get pain in my chest. And one of my closest friends, she was like, Alex, like, I need you to get a grip. I actually need you to get a grip. Because, like, no, you can't be that stressed out. Like, you're not out of a job, and even if you were out of a job, still, there's that reminder that you're still. Like, at the moment, I'm reading a Bible plan, and it's about how God works. And every time, whenever you look at time frames within the Bible, it's always day by day. Yeah. It's never weeks, it's never months, it's never years. It's always day by day, right? Yeah. And I think there's that reminder that actually, if you look at it day by day, you are progressing. Yeah. And so for me, I was leaping like, months in advance, and it was like, I just want to get there now. And it's like, no, actually, if you take it day by day, you will eventually get there. Yeah. And there is a beauty in taking things day by day, and I know that. I had to get a grip, and I'm really appreciative that she said that to me. Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Advice with Alex and Friends, the podcast. I'm your host Alex, and I'm joined by my beautiful co-host Novella.
Hi guys.
And this episode is all about what causes you stress and anxiety and what are you doing to overcome it. But before we get into that, make sure that you are following the podcast at Advice with Alex on Instagram and at Advice with Alex and Friends on TikTok. Do you know what? I was listening back to old episodes and I was like, why is it two different handles? And somebody had taken Advice with Alex on TikTok. That's why it's with and Friends. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Losers. Sorry. I hope you're well.
That's why. And if you haven't already subscribed, please make sure that you do so. So, in terms of like stress and anxiety for you, what causes the biggest? Because for most people, it's like work or money. I know that those two things have definitely caused me stress and anxiety beforehand, whether it be relationships, friendships, family, all that kind of stuff. What's it been for you in recent times?
For me, definitely it has been wedding planning. It's definitely brought around anxiety that I never knew I had before. It's definitely heightened it. I always feel like everyone's a little bit anxious, but it's definitely heightened it. I think I've definitely people pleased a lot during this process as well, which I guess has added towards that stress. And for me, I know that quite a few stuff is self-inflicted. So I'm not. I want to take accountability for that and my actions towards that, because I definitely feel there's areas where I could have done things a little bit better. And I have this really, if you ask me what my worst trait about me is, as soon as things get a little bit tough, I run away. I run away, I hide, I don't want to talk about it. That and making decisions, which is needed to wedding plan. It's taken me ages to make decisions on the most simplest, honestly. When I look back, some of the most simplest decisions.
Why is that though?
Because I always get in my head, oh my God, and then I go into bits like, I don't know, I go a little bit loopy where I'm like, have I made the right decision? Oh my God, are they well known? Oh my God, on the day they're not going to turn up, are they? Like, I get into my head a lot, and people don't talk about that, right? And I'm not your quote unquote average bride. I always say, I know people laugh at me when I say that, but I am not. I even struggle with that word when people like about me being a bride, because I was just like, I feel in no way. I feel like I'm planning for somebody else's day right now. I'm in total denial that it's me getting married. Like I can't even fathom.
Why do you feel that way? Why do you feel that that's not your reality?
I don't know. It's so weird. And I don't think it's anything, if I'm being honest, I don't think it's anything deep, like I'm not deserving of all of that. I don't think it's anything to do with that. I think I'm just delusional right now, and just really and truly I'm just going through the motions. But I don't, like when people are like, oh, you're so excited, and I'm like, no, why am I excited? Like, oh yeah, it's my day. Oh, anyways. Like I kind of put everything to the background, and anything to do with me, I'm always like, it's fine, you know, we'll do that. But for anybody else, I'm like, I would always make sure I try my best to go above and beyond, make sure everybody else is okay. I think that's me in general. I always kind of put my feelings and myself on the back burner, make sure everybody else is okay. But definitely, wedding planning and being in the right mental capacity for it was definitely something I was not. And I think with most life events that do happen, I think you've got to be in a really sound mental place prior to going in, because it takes up so much of your time, so much of your energy, and if you're not in the right frame of mind, it can actually be quite damaging. And towards the beginning of it, you know, wedding planning was actually really, really damaging for me, to the point where I didn't want to talk about it. Like, people would ask me and be like, oh, how's it going? And I'm like, yeah, it's okay. And then that's it. Like, I'm not bringing it up.
Yeah, you're not going into more depth.
I'm not going into more depth about it.
So what about it in the beginning specifically was damaging?
I think at the beginning, because, you know, I really spoke honestly and open to you around, you know, wanting to buy a property. And because that hadn't come into fruition at the time, that was bothering me, because in my head, and I'm, like I said, this is very, very subjective, and this is my journey and the way I feel. Buying a house for me held more importance than getting married. Yeah, I can get married at any time, and that was in my head. And I was thinking, like, you know, we're planning this, and I was just like, oh my gosh, we've got nowhere to live at the moment. Like, that's what was really riddling me with anxiety. And I was just like, that was my only prayer to God last year. I was just like, you know what, God, and I was really real. I said, if the wedding doesn't have to go next year, it is fine. I can deal with that. But God, please, if you know anything, please just provide a path for us, just to be able to, in some sort of way, get something. And I was open, even if it wasn't to buy, and I was open to renting too. I was just like, just provide some sort of guidance around that. And I think doing that hand in hand was hard. That was hard. And I'd always be honest and open to people to say, that is where my head and my focus and if you ask me where my heart is, that's where it is. My heart's not in wedding planning. It's not. I can't get married, I felt, without, for me, that house, that security. You know, where are we going? Where are we building? That's what marriage is based upon. Your foundation are laid there. And I was just like, we don't have that. So in my head, I was just like, how can I enjoy trying dresses on? How can I enjoy doing all of these stuff when I was still at home? It just felt weird. I was just like, how am I going to be a wife and I'm still at home? I cannot tell you, honestly, how hard that was, definitely. And I think people, if I spoke to you about it, or if you spoke to me about it, you asked me, you know, I was quite honest about that. And I did say, you know, I just can't get into this while I've got that looming.
It's a lot though. Like you said, you know, you want to be in a position where you're married and like you start your married life the way in which you intend to do so, which is in your own home.
Absolutely.
There are definitely people who get married and they move in with their parents and they navigate that. But if you know that that's something that you don't want to do, then of course that's something that would be very anxious. And purchasing a home, as much as you try your best, there are some parameters that are just outside of your control.
Absolutely.
Outside of your control. And so it is an anxious, and it's like, where am I going to live? That's something that would worry you. Where am I going to live? Like, it's definitely something that will worry you. Money was something. What am I going to eat? You know, there's certain things that will naturally worry you, and that's a massive worry. So that and thank you for sharing that. I think that's something that a lot of people don't talk about. Like, maybe amongst up and coming brides, they might talk amongst themselves, but I don't think that there's enough candid discussions around some of the really nitty-gritty and personal things, right?
And I felt that too, because you know normally what's really great is that when I've struggled with my anxiety around the wedding planning, I've turned to TikTok a lot. And TikTok, I know you've sent me brilliant videos. TikTok a lot has helped me a lot just around those things. But I just noticed that it would be just all centered around the wedding, and I didn't hear much around people, and it's just like around kind of, okay, the wedding has happened, where are we? So I was just like, I was a bit confused whether I was by myself, where people, okay, were living together already, so they didn't have that worry, or, you know, I know like there's thingies where people wait until they get married to move in with each other. So I was just like, you know, I was looking for that side of TikTok, and I was just like, is no one else kind of going through this, or is this just me, where it's just like I'm planning a wedding, but I don't really want to plan a wedding because I really want a house. But I don't remember seeing kind of any of that. So that's why I felt very, very alone in that journey there. I felt really, really alone. Well, my partner, obviously, he understood as well, but
no, I agree. I think that for the most part, when you look online, yes, there are more and more brides now that share certain things, but more so retrospectively as opposed to in the moment. That. And you know, for the most part, brides, when they're going through the journey, it's all just about, you know, this is amazing, this is and it's all rosy, and maybe a part of it is kind of like self-talk to kind of prep yourself up because you don't want to say anything negative. And again, I understand. I do think that there is a space though for being candid around, hey, actually I'm really struggling with whatever it is about wedding planning. So yeah, that would definitely be a can be a stressful and anxious period. I know that for me, I've always enjoyed or admired when Gucci Mane, so he's a rapper Gucci Mane, and his wife were getting married. Keisha Kaur, she planned their wedding in 6 weeks, and that was the most stress-free wedding ever. She was just like, yeah, I'm doing it in 6 weeks. And whenever she'd go and speak to the vendors, they'd be like, when's the wedding? And she'd say 10/10/17, because they got married in 2017. And they were like, you know, that's only a couple of weeks ago. She was like, yeah, and I've got the money, so so it was just
be on board.
Let's be on board.
Otherwise, you don't need to be part of my team then.
100%, 100%. So yeah, I think that's definitely something that would make me feel really anxious. I know that for me, I know that we had discussions last year. That was something that was really worrying you, and for me, I was really worried about work and like my next role and what that looked like for me. So much so to the point where I was starting to get pain in my chest. And one of my closest friends, she was like, Alex, like I need you to get a grip. I actually need you to get a grip. Because like, no, that you can't be that stressed out. Like you're not out of a job, and even if you were out of a job, still, there's that reminder that you're still, like, at the moment I'm reading a Bible plan, and it's about how God works, and every time, whenever you look at time frames within the Bible, it's always day by day. It's never weeks, it's never months, it's never years, it's always day by day, right? And I think there's that reminder that actually, if you look at it day by day, you are progressing. And so for me, I was leaping like, you know, months in advance, and it was like, I just want to get there now. And it's like, no, actually, if you take it day by day, you will eventually get there. And there is a beauty in taking things day by day. And I know that I had to get a grip, and I'm really appreciative that she said that to me. Shout out to our real friends.
That honestly, that can call us out, and that you feel comfortable enough to talk about it, because you know any advice that they give you or any kind of calling out, you know, it's coming from a place of love.
It was.
It's just like, Alex, I love you, but girl, get it together.
It's not that serious. Like, it's never ever that serious. And it wasn't like, literally, you know, you just surrender to the process, and eventually when you continue to show up every day, you can't just sit there and be like, oh, it's gonna like show up to my door. Sometimes it might do that, but for the most part, you also need to be active in that journey, right? And so that's what I did. I did everything I needed to do, and eventually, you know, I got what I wanted. So yeah, that definitely caused me some stress, and also around money as well. I know that there was a time where, for example, when I was pregnant, I wasn't working as much as I would have liked to have worked. But the beautiful thing about it is, you know, we didn't want for anything when we were having our son. Like, I guess in my mind, I had an idea of how I wanted things to go. And it didn't necessarily go like how I thought it would go, but it went well. And I'm so grateful for it. And since then, it's just been like continue, like asking, okay, how can I improve every single year? And I think sometimes I've been really hard on myself because I've created my own timelines. When it's like, if you look at the grand scale of things, you're trying to do something in a couple of months that maybe someone, it takes a couple of years to, and that's not to say it's not possible to do it in a couple of months, but it's okay if you don't. And yeah, like you're putting in the work, you're doing what you need to do, you will get there eventually. You know, that anxiety a lot of the times is self-inflicted because we don't trust the process and we don't trust ourselves.
Absolutely, because we're looking for immediate results, right? And when we don't see the immediate results, we're like, oh gosh. And I think that's like you said, that's what causes and adds to your anxiety. And it's funny because I always say the exact same thing, and you know, in hindsight, when you get there, and I always think to myself, I say, God, you were really just out here laughing at me when I was when I was struggling, because you say, God, I've got you, like, don't worry, like, I've got you. You just obviously couldn't tell me when. Obviously, I want to be told. I want to be told. I needed to tell me that it's gonna, I don't know, flick a calendar and then drop it on the floor and then circle it, and so I know exactly when it's coming. But you know, it's not going to. But you're right. I think definitely more, and I'm learning more now to just trust in the process and that it will happen. It will happen. But I know it's easier said than done.
No, of course, it is definitely easier said than done, and I think it's one of those things that takes practice with any good thing. Right? It takes a while, it takes getting used to, and so not being anxious, like in terms of addressing what the anxiety is, and you know, why is this showing up for me? What am I? Because I guess you feel anxious about something because there is a disconnect there, or you want something and it hasn't quite happened, or you want something and you can't quite see it, so that's why you feel anxious about it. And it's like, well, actually, if I reel this back and I go back to various other times in my life when I wanted something and it came to be, what did being anxious do for me? Was there any benefit? No, there wasn't really. I could have used that energy and expended it on something else that was actually going to be beneficial to me. I didn't have to use that time worrying about things and burning myself out and, you know, beating myself over something, because it's going to happen anyway, especially when I know that I'm actively working towards something. So yeah, it's definitely a big thing. Actually, going back to wedding planning, right? You said that you don't really feel like you've asked for help. So in terms of your bridesmaids, right? And selecting them. What was your thought process behind that? Did you have a thought process?
I didn't have a methodical thought process behind. I didn't. I picked the girls that have, one, been on a journey with me, two, had an impact in my life, and three, the closest girls to me. That was basically it. I didn't look at it as to say this person would be good at this or this person would be good at that. I would like to say I did it more from a heart perspective, really and truly. There wasn't any maths behind it or who could bring what to the table, and it wasn't anything to do with that. It was really what felt right. I think that's what I'd like to say. It's all girls I've been on a journey from beginning. It's nice because I've got people from the beginning, the middle, and kind of towards my latter years. So it's all different. So that was literally it. So I didn't feel like there was anything behind it, to be fair. No,
I thought I'd ask because I know that some people can be quite strategic in terms of who they pick as bridesmaids, which again I don't think is a bad thing.
I don't think it's a bad thing.
I think it's great to be able to pick people that have strengths. Okay, you have a strength in something I don't have. You have a strength in something I don't have, and above all, I guess, before picking your bridesmaids, having that moment with God in terms of discerning, God, this person is supposed to be my bridesmaids. You know, I'm going to request that you show me a purple car. Or, you know, if this person's supposed to be my bridesmaid, I'm going to request that you show me a rainbow. And if I see the rainbow, then that
and you know what? Looking, and I think definitely, I think future brides should definitely do that. I think look look to those people, it's not just around, and I'm kind of going to contradict myself, but it's not just around, you know, who you've known the longest and all of that. It's just around, you know, who are those people that you know as well throughout that process is going to make your journey smooth. And to be fair to my bridesmaids and stuff like that, like, no problems.
Yeah.
Like, zero. So, but yeah, it's things like that. I think definitely can do. But again, I'm going to put the blame on myself. I probably haven't reached out enough to find out what people's actual strengths are. And I've always seen it as, although I've asked people, I always see it as slightly as a bit of a burden on people, because I'm very, very aware that nobody cares about this wedding as much as my partner and I. No one can. Like, you've got to be real with yourself.
I mean, your mum's up there.
Well, yeah. Yeah. No one. Well, yeah. She. That is very, very true. That is very true. But in terms of like asking people for their time and efforts and money and finances, I saw this TikTok, I sent it to my sister, because I saw this TikTok the other day where it was talking about this bride was talking about, I don't know about you, but I feel so uncomfortable asking my bridesmaids for anything. I liked it and I sent it to my sister. I said, this is me. My sister said, but I said, yeah, we know. Because she said, it makes me so uncomfortable.
Why does it make you uncomfortable if they've agreed?
I know. I don't know. And this is where I think the anxiety comes into it. I make things a bigger deal than what they are. You're right, people are there, and then it kind of come across like you're trying to control things or hide things, and it's just like, it's the complete opposite. Like, I'm not controlling or hiding anything. Like, I will take any help, literally, given to me. But one thing, it goes down to how well someone knows you. You know me very well. And you know me very well in terms of how you know how to deal with me. Because Alex won't be like, let me know what kind of help you need. Alex will call me and be like, oh, what have you got on your list to do this week? And then we'll go through this. She'll call me like weekly, and then I'll be like, this, that, and the other. She's just like, I can do that. Like, you take things off me. And that is my biggest love language ever. Like, you don't wait for me to ask you, because I think I feel uncomfortable asking. People have got their lives. You know, you're a working mum. Like, it feels so uncomfortable. But when people go out of their way to offer, I would never ever say no. It's just, I think that's where, like, you're very good at it. My sister's very good at it. My other maid of honor, Hannah's so good at that. They literally just take things off my plate because they understand. They said, if it's down to Novella, she will never ask you for a single thing.
100%.
She said she will go that whole wedding plan and she will not ask you for a single thing. So, like, they're literally like, Hannah does the exact same thing. She's just like, what's on your list? She's like, I can do that. I've done it. And that's exactly how you did. So it's fine. I've done it. So it's just, it's just around that. And I think that's a telling thing about knowing, your friends knowing you very well. And I think you being as well eldest daughter. I think you just get it. You literally just get it. So I think that's a beautiful thing. I think even when I look at, you know, the people around me, it's very much the same thing in terms of they're like, they know. I know for the longest time I wouldn't ask for help and I've been pulled up on it. And they're like, you know, you don't talk about stuff. And but them still showing up or picking up on things, and I feel like we're all quite intuitive of each other. Like, even from the tone in which somebody answers the phone, you just know that something is off. And so I know that for me, I don't really have any, I think I've said this before, but I don't really have many friends that are the youngest. Because it's ditto, actually. That is very true.
I have very few friends that are the youngest. Most of my friends are the eldest, and it's like, okay, well, what would I want for myself? Okay, this person probably wants the same thing. 9 times out of 10, they want the same thing, and so you just kind of show up for other people that same way as well. But yeah, because you just want I guess you want that, you know, I've always said that I want you to enjoy this process.
Yes, you have.
And so it's like, okay, how can we assist you as well? Because there's so much that kind of comes up on your plate and you don't even like realize it. And you have to like continue to live life as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the thing, like life is difficult already. Talk less of adding in something else, purchasing a home, getting married, like being a mom, like balancing all of those things. It's like there's no days off with those things. You still have to continue. So yeah, in terms of having anxiety around those things, these are very, very valid things. And I know that for me, in terms of what I do to combat that is obviously address what I'm feeling. Yes. But also like having that safe space to speak to people about, okay, this is how I'm feeling. And they just affirm, yes, I feel the same. And it's like, okay, cool. How did you overcome it? Or speaking to somebody else and they can share their story. And it's like, oh, you get that reminder that, you're not on your own. You're not on your own and no condition is permanent.
Yes.
So you will move through that thing, and you look back, like I go through my journal sometimes and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I remember when I felt like this and I don't feel like this anymore.
Because it was literally just temporary, right? Most of these situations that do happen it is very, very, very temporary. And that's why we've got to kind of train ourselves to say, you know, it is normal to feel like that, but it's not going to last. No, it's not going to last. By the grace of God, it's not going to last. It's very, very temporary. Yeah. Right now.
Yeah. No. Anxiety is, and I'm so grateful because I just haven't felt it lately at all.
Brilliant.
Haven't felt anxious about anything. Not truly.
Not truly.
I might have said it in passing, but it's not actually keeping me up at night or anything like that. I really do feel like at peace right now. Stuff,
Oh, I love that. I really, really love that.
Long may it continue.
No, it will. It will. In Jesus' name, 2024. Amen. Oh my God. Yeah, of course it will.
Yeah.
It will.
So what are you doing to help you to overcome your anxiety, especially around wedding planning? Because we probably have some 2024, 2025 brides that are watching this, or just anyone who's intrigued as a whole. I think it would be great to share.
I'm very honest and open around it. Like, I'm very candid, you know. If someone asks me how it's really going, like, I'm honest about it, and I'm like, you know, it's hard, it's difficult, it's tough. And then, like you said, people can either offer words of wisdom or prayers for you. Like I always say to my aunties and stuff like that, just keep praying for us. I feel it. I feel the prayers, honestly, I really do. Taking time out, like, I love that. And I have to give actually a massive shout out to my partner. And he reminds me every day why I am getting married to him, because he just puts me at such ease. Like when like my body feels tense or I feel up there, he just knows how to ground me, to either take me away from that situation or even if it's alleviating some of that stress from me. Like I've been so in awe with how much he's got involved with wedding planning, because he knows how much I haven't liked certain aspects. And I always say, you know what, I always throw him. He's always someone that you can throw to the wolves and I can hide behind, because he will always protect me. He will always, like, when people are going thingy, like, best believe he's going to be there, protected. He's always just like, don't, Novella, behind me, like, he's my shield. He honestly is my shield. And he's just made it so much easier. He really has been. He really has been my peace. So I have to give a massive kudos. So for me, you know, if you've got a really supportive partner, definitely, and friends, like, you know, I have to give as well, like, a massive shout out to Alex, just constantly checking in with me and taking that time out. Like, honestly, it means the world. And I think it's good because, you know, I was really vulnerable with her about how I was feeling about it. So it allowed you to do what you do best. And it's just like, okay, you know, I'll check in with you weekly and just see how you're getting on and listen to your to-do list. And she would literally be like, what have you done this week? I can do that. Literally, that's what she'd be like. She'd be like, I could do that. But yeah, surrounding yourself with good people as well. That really helps. And yeah, venting. I vent. I vent, and for anyone that wants to hear it, like I'm like I always say, yeah, I vent, because I think there's this perception around wedding planning. It can be it should be a very beautiful and seamless process, but sometimes it's not that simple. And just being open, honest about it.
I agree. I think that's great tips. And I think for me, in terms of what I've actually been doing and will continue to do, is just remembering the big picture and looking back, like, oh my gosh, once upon a time this used to disturb you and it doesn't disturb you anymore. And feeling grateful. I think coming from this place of gratitude, literally one of my middle names literally means like to be grateful, and I was like, I feel like I'm a really grateful person, especially as I get older. Yes. And it's one of those things where I'm grateful. Even the thing that is frustrating me, I'm grateful.
You're grateful for. I know.
I'm actually grateful for this thing that's frustrating me. Yeah. So there is that, having this aspect of gratitude every single day, because ultimately it's not. 9 times out of 10, it isn't that serious. Isn't that serious? And even if it is something that's serious, that won't be the end for you. No, there is something to take away from that, so that you can move forward. So I think that's definitely a strategy that I use, like being grateful, having my gratitude journal, writing 3 things in it every single day so I can remember. And there are times when I've written things that stress me out in there, but I'm still grateful for it.
Absolutely.
And reflecting on that. So guys, what are some of your strategies that you use to overcome anxiety? And you share them in the comment section with us. I don't think anybody is above having a new strategy to help them with coping with anxiety, coping with stress. And, you know, how do you identify when you're stressed or anxious in the moment? I know that for me, I feel really irritable. And so when I feel irritable, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm anxious. What are you anxious about? And kind of like asking those like questions in real time. To overcome it. So guys, that's it in terms of this episode. Make sure, of course, that you like and engage with us and share this to your most anxious friend, because we all have one.
We do.
So that you can let them know that there are ways that they can overcome their anxiety, their stress, and share it as well with your friends that are getting married as well. You know, it's like, because this is a great candid conversation. We're in real time.
In real time. I think
people do it previously. No, people do it like retrospectively, right? But not necessarily in real time.
Talking about it now.
Yeah, as she's going through the motions. Although by the time this episode comes out, you might actually be already married.
I'll be speaking words.
But yeah, no, really appreciate that. So guys, until next time, take care. Bye.